Every single jump, every trophy won, every wicket break,
I'm gonna go call my dinner
every
now.
breakaway,
Alright, talk to you soon.
every cross, every dunk, every pit stop, every loss,
Ready?
every
Yeah.
victory, every single sport. We will be watching you.
Welcome
Studio blood.
inside the locker room.
Good morning to you. The 23rd of March 2020. How are you feeling this morning? We're live on Smooth Breakfast with Valentine Who.
And I am Myro. I say good morning, everyone.
Good morning. At a time where we were wondering if there are any sporting events available or still existing around the world, we talk sports inside the locker room.
That's right.
And we have the one, the only, the very magnanimous, the beautiful Tega Onojaife, aka Tega Supreme.
I have it. Whatever you want. I just wanna give you. Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning. I tried.
You tried.
You tried.
Watch us live on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, Smooth 981 FM Lagos, and hit the follow button. And let us know exactly what you think of the stories on Smooth 981 FM on Twitter.
That's right. On Twitter, we're at Smooth91FM. Like Valentine mentioned, use the hashtag LockerRoom981 to send your message. On WhatsApp, you know what to do. Send us a message. 0809 444 is the number.
Our first story on Nigeria, naturally. Ajunwa wants foreign-based elite athletes barred. Why? We soon find out. Nigeria's only individual gold medalist in Olympic athletics, Chioma Ajunwa, is of the opinion that allowing foreign-based athletes and elite athletes to participate in a national sports festival is a setback to grassroots sports development in Nigeria. She says, quote, "What confuses me here is that the NSF has now become a competition where all our international athletes are coming to take part. I do not know what we hope to achieve in allowing international athletes who have been representing this country competing all around Europe to come and participate with the younger athletes. The NSF is for new athletes from youth games and those from the clubs that are trying to find their feet to start competing for the nation."
Okay. I don't know where that law came from. But she's an athlete and she knows. So she says that in her time, it used to be that the NSF the NSF is the National Sports Festival, was used to develop grassroots athletes. So elite athletes, international athletes didn't really come home. It was that National Sports Festival that they used to discover new athletes that could go on to represent the country. But now it seems as if states are bringing in elite athletes and international athletes to come and compete at this tournament. And she's saying that it kills grassroots sports. Because thinking about it, bringing people from Europe and the rest to come and compete with people that are green would even give them a chance. Here's what I think though. It is I see her point, but only to an extent. If you have enough of athletes to take care of, you have the athleticism, and so a lot of athletes need money, so they're just always going to do that. But here's where my issue is: if you can't beat the international athletes, how are we discovering you? Because we want someone that's going. I mean, think about it. We want someone that's going to compete for Nigeria, right? So, if you're going to compete for Nigeria, the least you can do is win whatever event you're participating in. And so, if you can't beat the international athletes that are from Nigeria, how do you want to compete with the rest? Because sometimes they used to hire mercenaries, I swear. So you just hear somebody say, you be like, Akwa Ibom State. Nope, from Taraba. Like she can, any athlete can be from anywhere. And so they bring different athletes can go to other states and compete for other states and be paid by those states if they win the championship. So on that note, I would have thought she'd have said, okay, let's restructure so that states would not be bringing in mercenaries and the rest of them. Let's see who is from where. But some people will not say, that's tribalism. So let's just leave the athletics as it
There's
is.
no one Nigeria.
But some people can run faster than others.
In other states?
Yeah, I don't want to shout. You know the best athletes come from Niger Delta.
No.
Call the police.
Lagos State.
Eh?
Hello.
Who has won the last 3 national sports festival?
Gosha.
Really?
Please,
who?
this is unverified information.
Le who?
Don't listen to
Le
me,
what?
please.
Your best athletes from history
Yeah.
are from the Niger Delta, and when I say the Niger Delta, the states in the Niger Delta.
Like
so,
this, what state?
so Delta State is one, Edo State, Akwa Ibom State. So,
I have a question to ask you. What's my surname?
which one is your surname?
That's my surname.
Everybody say your father's name. Line up behind your father's house. You cannot come and be claiming
My
here.
father handed me over.
I know what you mean. You're right. You can come over to the main side now. But different states have their different parts of Nigeria have their strengths, which is why I don't understand, because we all need each other.
Exactly.
So different parts have their strengths. So at the end of the day, put it
We are the most brilliant.
No, I said you go to school more. But we are all one Nigeria. However, I see where she's coming from with the don't let international athletes compete. Let us see the grassroots athletes we have. But I'm saying, if you are not ready.
True. All right, let's move on to the next one. On news here, sad. 2 Rangers international players involved in ghastly accident. 1 has been confirmed dead. 2 Rangers international players were involved in an accident this morning with attacker Ifeanyi George, confirmed dead. The players were on their way to Lagos from Enugu when the tragedy struck. Ifeanyi George was the only first team player involved. Ibrahim was with the feeder team.
Yes. So here is here is what happened over the weekend. Not so much good news. Everyone from Enugu to Lagos. They were going in a 3-car convoy,
Yes.
and then one of the cars drives on that truck. And so the one ahead was in critical condition. What happens on the roads?
Yeah.
How you should be careful driving that Lagos Benin Express. There's just so much drama about road accidents in Lagos.
Yeah.
So sorry, in Nigeria, not Lagos. So it's something that we need to start looking at. There should be a call out for that. But I also question, if they're returning home from their base, place of location, why are they going one after the other? But I guess that's questions that will eventually get answers to over time.
Yeah.
But for now, we just need to sort out the condition of the Nigerian roads, and then we'll take it from there. But that's another thing we need to look at.
And it's good we're highlighting this. I know there have been statistics that have been released with regards to the number of deaths caused by coronavirus and other things that plague us as Nigerians, one of which is road accidents.
Yeah.
We don't pay attention to a lot. So these people are not playing, they've been asked not to play to protect themselves. However, death has come calling, and in the form of road accidents. Really,
So
really
yeah,
sad.
that's
It's terrible. I saw a picture yesterday.
So it's very very gory pictures. Not very good news for the Nigerian Football League. Again, another player dying. I remember we lost one a couple of weeks ago to police violence.
Yeah.
And
Then the cardiac arrest one.
yeah, and then the cardiac arrest one. So
That's
not,
Nasarawa State.
yeah, so not really good times right now with MPFL players, but we pray for the family of the player that was lost, to have the grace to be able to bear the loss.
Amen.
Amen.
We have comments from WhatsApp. Taya from Yaba says, if those international athletes win gold, Choma Ajunwa will count down. What facilities are available to train the local ones? Not trying to offend, just balancing the equation.
Skill, yeah.
Shim also weighs in on the NSF National Sports Festival issue or story. He said, LOL, I'm a taekwondoka and also participated in karateka competition. That's back in 2006. Yeah, I represented River State. I'm from Delta.
Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, state just pick athletes.
Well, but guys, to be fair, if our constitution allows for free movement, I can decide to be Delta today, Rivers tomorrow, Lagos.
Hence we are here.
Wale from Ikoyi says, hashtag Ajunwa. I think Taga is missing the point, really, he said. National Sports Festival shouldn't be for athletes who are going to compete internationally. It's for discovery of talents who are then trained, prepared to compete internationally. What I think, though, is to have a national qualifying meet usual have a national qualifying meet, usually in the US for international tournaments.
Okay, so they
That's
have the National Open, the Nigerian, is it Nigerian Open to everybody? So trust me, they have all these things. For me, I like I said, I see what a little bit of what Chema says, but National Sports Festival, for me, if I'm going to discover a new talent, let's say the new talent has to be able to compete with the, if not, they are just regular, because our international athletes are not even running world record time. Let's face it, if you're running worse than that, what are we training you for? You don't have it. Sorry. You don't have it.
And BT agrees with you. Setega is 100% right. Lagos is claiming victory when all the winning athletes are named Edet, Effiong, Eket. He said, yes, real negotiations.
Yes. Later, it's when it's convenient for you people that you say that Lagos is no man's land. We welcome all of you.
We welcome you.
Apparently, it's a metropolitan city. Yeah?
No, it's not.
Okay.
We original Lagosians. Anyway, that's a big fan of the thing.
That's right. Now, Formula One did stage Bahrain GP on Sunday, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but not as you know it, as the sports offered fans some entertaining esports escape to feel the current live racing.
Yep, they were playing from their houses.
On the same day, the floodlit race should have been taken in the Sake F1's teams, were represented by mixed current and former drivers, rising stars, and other celebrities as they raced each other against each other remotely on the Formula One 2019 PC game. Wow, there was chaos. There was carnage. And amidst all, no shortage of sporting competitiveness as the 20 drivers from various career backgrounds took to the virtual version of one of the Formula One's most overtaking friendly tracks. That's interesting.
Yes, so instead of, as opposed to, since they couldn't have the physical race,
Yes.
and this time it was open, was one of them. So they had practice drivers, they even had a Sky Sports Formula One commentator.
Okay.
Just to make everything all right. So, and they had announced it, they had previewed it, they said it was going to happen, so it was a big deal. Like, okay, you can't watch Lewis Hamilton on track, but you can join us for the Bahrain Grand Prix live. And so the race started. There was also, some people don't know how to drive. You see how you be sitting in the comfort of a living room and saying, why don't you overtake him? Why can't you? They put them that day. They gave them part.
They should do that for football too. We are tired of
They already do it.
We're tired. Oh,
And
really?
people, they already, someone like me, I cannot be a fantasy manager. My team will always lose.
Yeah, true.
Always lose, always. So they had that, and then people just kept crashing into each other. Some people were leading, then they crashed and went all the way to the back. Some people were at the back, crashed and went all the way to the front. It was the craziest drive of all. But at the end of the day, it was more interesting to have that kind of connection again, because when you talk about social distancing and everybody staying at home, we forget the mental health part, which is very important. And so connecting with other people that you're not cooped up with is very key. So it was good escape for those who wanted to see sports, even if it was fun sports, and for those that were competing in it. Yes.
All right. Let's talk about the International Olympic Committee setting 4-week deadline on games decision. Already we know that Canada and I think the US has said that they're not going to be sending athletes to Tokyo Olympics this year. But the Olympics Committee announced yesterday that it will make a decision whether to postpone the 2020 Tokyo Games at some point in the next 4 weeks. Consultation with Japanese public authorities, global sports officials, broadcasters, and sponsors will deal with scenario planning for the July scheduled 24th to 24th of August 9 games, the IOC said. According to part of a lengthy statement given by the IOC is confident that it will have finalized these discussions within the next 4 weeks and greatly appreciates the solidarity and partnership of the national Olympic committees and international federations in supporting the athletes and adapting games planning.
Okay, so slight correction. The US have not yet withdrawn their athletes. They're saying they've written to their Olympic committee to pass it to the IOC that look, you guys, if you don't move it, we are going to have to. so they're on the threatening level for now.
Okay, that was Australia and
Well,
Canada.
Canada, yes, that Canada's definitely pulled out their athletes. But here, so as much as I agree with what they're saying, I tried to get a few athletes to tell me if 6 weeks is not adequate preparation time for the Olympic competition.
Yeah.
Um, I don't mean to be mean, but some of you lose in the first hurdle at the first hurdle anyway. I don't know.
That's what you mean. Just taking the facts.
So I'm just so thinking they've been training from, because most the serious athletes do start training in 2020 for the 2020 Olympics.
Yes.
They've been training for years. Like you've heard some of the US and Great Britain athletes talk about their training. So they've been training for maybe 3 and some years, 3 and so on and some months, years,
Yeah.
to get here. And the Olympics, like I said, is still all the way in July 24th. So if most leagues are anticipating that they're going to start in June, they still 6 weeks is not enough for them to have to train, to get in good shape for the Olympics. Some of them have said it's enough, but it's not just about the training that they will do in that 6 weeks. It's about all the trainings they were supposed to do all these days that they've been locked down. A little jog here is not adequate preparation for them, not just that 6 weeks mandatory training. And she was saying that yes, as Nigerian, she understands where I'm coming from, because that's how our athletes rush towards the Olympics, because that's what's available to them. But generally, you have to have a build up, and they haven't had the chance to get that build up. So even if you give them that 6 weeks, they will come in maybe physically fit, but they're not sure how sharp competitive wise they would be. So which is where the problem is. So the problem is not that the coronavirus may not be treated before July 24th. The problem is that the athletes may not have adequate time to compete to their best, to the best of their abilities, which is why I don't understand. July still all the way. I don't know what people are rushing, because people keep mounting pressure, push this and push this. I'm like, everybody's setting their league for June.
Yeah.
So at least if they set their league for June, they're anticipating that by April, May, they should sort out this coronavirus issue, and then people have time. But it's the preparation. So because of the preparation, the IOC has decided that they're going to, over the next 4 weeks, they're going to have this meeting and deliberate and see when they can move the Olympics to, if they're moving the Olympics.
Then again, it
Yeah.
might actually get to June. The whole quarantine. And all.
Yeah, so if it's getting to June, so
We'll see how it goes.
we'll see how it
Well,
goes.
let's take a break. We need to take a breather, go drink water, wash your hands. We'll be back after this.
This camera, as my cousin calls it. Why is it like this?
The new Peak Yogurt, the exciting drink all for you. Peak Yogurt comes in orange, strawberry,
what did you say?
and plain sweetened flavor.
It's Peak
All
Yogurt.
available in nearby
Okay.
stores.
Oh, it's pink yogurt, not pink. That's all the next thing. This Yoruba is affecting your eardrums. I didn't finish watching it yesterday.
So hurry now to Lively Furniture Showrooms. Home and office furniture, sanitary wares, kitchen and outdoor furniture to be part of this double excitement.
For more details, please call 081 2000 6000. Promo runs from 14th to 31st of March 2020. Life Mates.
We make your life better.
Oh, I'm so happy. No, it's not you, it's the internet.
Oh, okay. I quickly walked away.
Paused it.
I know, but I kept pressing it. Was
I quickly walked away. They will not catch me, Tim.
0080.
See, they're coming through the show now. Oh,
What?
look at how everyone's face is clear. I love it.
Your hope.
We'll love it.
Conditions apply.
Samsung to the one.
Do we have messages? That's what I came to check. Okay.
That's why we press pause. Okay, come inside.
Eh?
No, no, no. They don't leave me here. Continue, continue.
Where are you running away?
No, I'm running. Oh. I just like
sir.
comfort.
Coronavirus will infect half the global population, according to EIU.
I've told you this thing is not deadly like that.
Economist intelligence.
Let them just get us the vaccine first before it will affect half. We take it from there.
New things happening. Eh?
We have someone to count on.
Yeah, we just said
If you're watching on YouTube, you could already tell we have someone to count on when the world is changing here on Smooth 98.1. Your love music, love life radio station. You're listening to sports inside of the locker room. You've got me, Valentine.
and Ayo Myro Essay.
And Tega Supreme.
Yeah.
Hi, Tega.
Hola.
Let's go next. Send your messages, by the way. WhatsApp 08094440981. On YouTube, we're Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Everywhere, actually. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Send those messages in. WhatsApp number again 0809444. You to completing the season over 6 weeks before making an August start to the 2020-2021 campaign. The report said that the sketchy plan was the best case scenario aimed at mitigating the heavy losses clubs are sustaining as they continue to pay wages while football remains shut down because of coronavirus pandemic.
Yes, it's a crazy period in football right now, but the EPL is anticipating that by June 1st, they can even start playing behind closed doors. So they're planning that just in case the coronavirus issue is not completely dealt with, but there's a little bit more of control, then they'll play behind closed doors. So they're thinking of starting the league regardless. And I think I heard one of the ex internationals saying, look, this is not about next season. Let's not even think about next season. The fact that the Euros have moved to next year is great timing. So if all they need to do is just focus on completing this season, and then after that they can think of what will happen next season. But trying to rush to start next season in August, so just so that they keep with the timetable and keep with the program, may not be the wisest plan. And it may be that it may come down to the fact that they're putting money out of health. And I understand the pressure that the Premier League is under.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. They've paid you, like myself and I were talking the other day, they've paid you 70% of the money and you have spent it. Then the event cancelled. just think of
there's also another issue, the fact that some of the players' contracts end in June.
Yeah, so they're going to they're looking for ways to resolve that, and they're going to create new laws for these extenuating times. But somebody was saying something about is the coronavirus not like a natural, what's it called?
Like a natural disaster.
Like a natural disaster, so it can cause like a force majeure, so that companies don't have to pay insurance. Well, I didn't go to law school.
We know we explore that question.
Yes, and I've seen a few lawyers write on this, but people's money, you are speaking French as far as they're concerned. So there's a lot of this, and that's where my problem is. June 1st, we are playing regardless. Behind closed doors, people are playing. So that's where
Let's
my problem
pray
is.
that the situation is such that they can still be talking like this. That's how. I mean, not even because of the English Premier League. It's really possible. So let's pray that they'll be able to play. That's what we keep hope alive.
Yeah.
But let's move on. We'll keep an eye on it. I know it's difficult for us. And then let's move on. So former Real Madrid president Lorenzo Sanz passes away. his son said on Saturday. Sands presided over the club between 1995 and 2000. The 1998 Champions League triumph was the time they had won Europe's top prize, which they have lifted.
As you'd have probably heard over the news, especially earlier,
Yeah.
when the Chinese were releasing their experience with the coronavirus, they said it was hitting the older people first. Well, the older people were the ones dying the more. And Lorenzo is one of those old elderly people. So he went to the hospital. He tested positive for coronavirus. Using also making a lot of things from people. So vaccine will get a little bit of control and enough from us already.
Yeah, it is. Let's move on to Alex Song and Johan Giroud. Among 9 players sacked by FC, players had refused to sign an agreement for a wage cut during the indefinite suspension of the Swiss top flight. Take it.
Okay, so here is what it is. Because of the suspension of the financial implications, no more staff include footballers. With all the wages that they're collecting, so the club comes out with a plan that look, during this break,
Yeah.
take a pay cut and let's take it from there. And the players are like, no, our wages are this. So if we're injured, wouldn't you pay us the same number of wages? And so 9 players refused to sign, and so they sacked all 9 players. What I want to know is there no law to protect those 9 players? Because I'm waiting to see how this plays out completely. Because first of all, the player association is going to involve FIFA is trying to renegotiate salaries with a few staff members because of the shutdown. I don't think it gives you any right to sack players because they don't want to subject to your terms. I think you can renegotiate. I think you can recompensate later on, or tell them to take half now, and then when the league resumes and things resume to go back to normal, income starts coming back to normal, you can get the rest of your money, but you can't sack. But let's see how this plays out when the 5th round.
COVID-19, it is tasking. Well, thank you, Lagos. Thank you for being part of the show. Group 91 is always mine. You can all check out the conversation and continue joining that on hashtag Locker Room 91. Follow at Ladies in Sports International, LIS International, that is, to just be updated. And Tega Supreme is at Tega Supreme. I and I will be back at the top of the hour to discuss Lagos Talks 91.
This is your love music, love life station.
Why is message not coming in? How do I press stop? I don't know how to stop it.
X marks the spot.
Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes.